Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's Diego with another live stream here for you guys on your Green Card K1 Visa channel. Free advice, always free advice, unless, of course, you are a member of this channel, then you are a member. But I'm here to give you all this information on your green cards and your K1 visas to give you moral support, to lift you up when you are down, when you are not feeling happy because you are missing your loved one. And Korean and I, we understand the separation is not fun. It's a long separation, but you can do it. You're going to make it through this. I'm not an immigration attorney. I don't give you any legal advice. I don't work for USCIS. That's the disclaimer out of the way, and there you go. We do this live stream for you to help you just get through this process without paying an immigration attorney or paying incredulous amounts of money to, immigration attorneys. They charge an arm and a leg and a kidney, and the paperwork's not difficult. You just got to have confidence in yourself and your abilities to fill out paperwork. And you can do this. It's not difficult. I've made videos on how to file a 10-year green card, a 2-year green card. I made videos on how to file a K1 visa. And I think I'll make a video on how to file another K1 visa process. I think I'll make a new video on the K1 visa application and update it for 2025 going into 2026. Today is October 8th, 2025. The month is flying by. October is zooming by real quick. September, I don't know where it went. It was here and then it was gone. So if you are waiting for a K1 visa to get adjudicated, the time is just whizzing by, and soon you will have your K1 visa, your NOA2 letter. If you are a citizen of Afghanistan or Syria, or I believe Iraq's included in that list, and you are in the process of a K1 visa application, your K1 visa is going to be denied at the embassy interview. There is a block right now, especially for K1 visa applicants coming here from Afghanistan. You're not going to get your visa right now. It's going to be denied at the interview. So if you are dating an Afghani, I would reconsider filing the K1 visa at this moment. I would not be paying for a K1 visa application until the U.S. government lifts that block on those countries. It is what it is. I don't have any control over it. Okay, but that's the goal. That's the rule right now. Today was a good day. Karina had a long day. She worked an extra hour. They asked her to work, so she is tired. She worked an extra hour at her job, and her coffee company that she's creating is moving along very nicely. We got everything going well with her coffee company. The company is registered with the state of Florida. We did all the legal paperwork. Everything's good, and we're just waiting now on the product. Abduli Jallo, hello Diego, greetings to you all watching from Florida. Well, we're glad to hear you're in Florida. That's good. It's a great place to be, Florida. It's low taxes. It's a business friendly state. If you want to start a business, Abduli, here in Florida's the place to start a business. It's not difficult to do. It's a simple process. And unlike California, where it sucks to start a business, if you live in California, it's next to impossible to start a business there. And that's why companies are leaving. Like In-N-Out Burger. The In-N-Out Burger, their headquarters has been in California since its inception. They moved into Tennessee. Elon Musk moved his ex-company out of San Francisco. He moved his SpaceX company out of California, moved it to Florida and Texas. Oil refineries are closing, and it's very difficult to run a business out of the state of California because of the communist government that's in place. And I say communist government lightly because that's what their actions are exact copies of. So, if you live in California and you're planning on starting a business, then it's going to be an uphill battle for you guys. I'm not saying you can't do it, but it's an uphill battle. Abduli Jallo, I was in the United Arab Emirates. Okay, yeah, I remember. Hope you can all able to remember. I came through the K1 on 4 days ago. Well, welcome to the United States, Abdullah. You came in from the United Arab Emirates, and now you're in the United States, and now you're in Florida. You're in my home state, the great state of Florida. The property taxes aren't too bad. The car tag process is easy. Getting a driver's license is you got to pass the test and everything, but it's not it doesn't cost a bunch of money. So it's a great place to live here. It's a great state to live in. The only drawback with Florida is it gets very hot in the summer, and we are prone to hurricanes, which occasionally come in and wipe out towns, for goodness sake, which kind of sucks for the people. So that's the only drawback. It's hot and humid in the summertime, and the hurricanes are not fun, and the tornadoes sometimes. The only other place I would ever consider living would be in Nevada, but it's a dry heat in Nevada. But they don't have any. They have a pretty low income tax on. They have a low property tax. They don't have an income tax, and it's easy to start a business in Nevada. It's easy to start a business here. So if you're coming to the United States and you're going to be relocating to Florida, maybe you should look into starting your own little business, run it out of your house. Run a business out of your home. I mean, you come up with an idea, right? You could set up a T-shirt printing, screen printing business. I don't know. What is it you like to do? Bring your skills to the United States from your country of origin and turn them loose and enjoy and indulge in the capitalist free market economy that we have here. Make some money. Maybe you become a millionaire. You could. Karina started her coffee business, and she's just loving it. So it is, she's waiting on her 10-year green card too. She's going to file for her 10-year green card in March of 2026, which is just 5 months away. What is October? So October, November, December, January, February. So about 5.5 months, Karina will be filing for her 10-year green card. That's the file. That's the Form 751, plus all the supporting evidence. Normally, we would file our joint taxes together in April, but because we're going to be filing for Karina's 10-year green card in March, we're going to file our joint taxes early. We'll file it in March 1st, March 2nd, end of February, somewhere in there. So that way, we got proof of our second joint tax return together here while she's on the K2, K2 coming in, K1, K2. The K1 is if you have a K2, that's for a child. K1's for the beneficiary. But you want to file at least 2 joint tax returns before you file for the 10-year green card and show evidence of it. We got the tax transcript for our 2024 joint tax return. It got mailed to the house, but we probably won't be able to get the tax transcript for the 2025 tax return because when we file the taxes, the IRS will not have the time to process the transcript. So we're not worried about it. We'll include copies of Karina's W-2s, my 1099s, the 1040, the bank statements, the pay stubs, Karina's pay stubs, etc., etc. Remember, if you're filing for a 2-year or a 10-year green card, don't make any mistakes on the paperwork. Don't make any mistakes. Immigration is a zero tolerance for mistakes right now. Basically, what immigration is saying is if you don't know how to fill out paperwork, then you're going to get your green card denied. That's it. If you don't fill out the paperwork correctly, you're going to be denied. And then you're going to have to jump through a whole bunch of hoops to fix that. And I know how to do that. If you are working on a green card, it comes in denied, let me know, and I will help you overcome the denial. I just need to know what it is that was the mistake. And most of the time, it's because the sponsor didn't fill out the 864 correctly or didn't include a joint sponsor. If you don't make enough money, Mr. American citizens, it's no big deal. Just get a joint sponsor. That does make enough money to cover his family size or her family size and your family size. So let's suppose you're a family of 2 and you don't make enough money. Your income isn't sufficient. You get a joint sponsor who is single, living by himself or herself. So you hit the joint sponsor is going to fill out the 864, and his family or her family is going to be a size of 3. It's going to be him or her plus you 2 guys. So that's 3. Let's suppose you get a joint sponsor who has himself and a wife and a child. So that's going to be, the joint sponsor is going to be a family of 3, and then he's going to sponsor you guys, a family of 2. So the total family size for the joint sponsor is going to be 5. It'll be his 3 and his family plus you 2 and your family. So you got to make sure that you cover the income for the family size. If you live in Alaska or Hawaii, you got to make more money than if you live in the 48 contiguous United States. If you live in Alaska or Hawaii, you got to make more money. Okay? Why? Because the cost of living in Alaska and Hawaii is very expensive. Everything has to be flown into Hawaii. Everything has to be flown into Alaska from the United States. If you go into Hawaii and you buy a Coke or a Mountain Dew, it's going to be twice as expensive as if you were to buy it in, let's say, Florida, because it had to be shipped to Hawaii by airplane or by a boat. And shipping fees are not cheap. So the price of stuff, the price of goods and services go up, especially in Alaska also. If you live in Alaska, 5-pound of chicken is going to be twice as expensive in Alaska as if you were to pay for it in a Winn-Dixie or a Walmart or a Publix, let's say, in Oregon or Washington State. Or Florida. It's expensive. Living in the United States is expensive. Don't forget, when you apply for your 2-year green card and your 10-year green card, you got to show proof of health insurance for your beneficiary. Full coverage. Total everything. Larry Piercy, hi bud. Larry, what's going on? I like seeing that star next to your name there as a member. Karina had a long day at work today, but we appreciate appreciate you guys when you sign up as members and maintain your membership, because not only does it give you access to my phone number and cell phone and email and all that jazz and personal one-on-one, it helps the channel. Larry Piercy, no Bud Garcia. I don't know where Bud Garcia is. If he's busy, I don't know what he's doing. Sometimes he's on the live stream, sometimes he's not. Depends on what his schedule is, what he's doing with his wife from Thailand. So, now don't forget, tomorrow is Thursday, Larry, English class for Moggy and Karina. Tuesdays and Thursdays is English class for Moggy and Karina, learning English. Now, yesterday, Karina went to her English class, and there was a lady there from Ukraine learning English. She's a Ukrainian. And she gave Karina a bag of Russian candy, Russian chocolate. Wrapped it was all in Russian. I can't speak Russian. It was like extraterrestrial hieroglyphics. But yesterday I got to eat some Russian chocolate, and it tasted so good. Actually, I'm not supposed to eat chocolate because my blood sugar's too friggin' high, but I'm not going to pass up eating some Russian chocolate. It was good, very tasty. Larry Piercy, yes, got the English class covered, right? Now, Moggy's in English class. Whenever she pays for the class, or whenever you pay for her English class, make sure those receipts go in her 10-year green card application. Okay? Immigration want to see that she is continuing her education, like Karina, my beautiful wife from Venezuela. She's in college taking these classes. All the evidence of her studies is going in her 10-year green card application. Larry Piercy did that or doing that. There you go. Rooster, heavy rain now in South Mississippi. Rooster, we need the rain here so I don't have to keep using the garden hose to water the flowers. Because even though water is plentiful in Florida, because it rains pretty frequently, especially in the summertime, it's still expensive. Where I live here, the cost of water is crazy expensive. But we got to keep the plants alive in the summertime, right? So it's a good thing. Rooster, heavy rain. Gotcha. South Mississippi, very nice. Now, 2025 is just about out the window. Soon it's going to be Halloween. I don't know if you celebrate Halloween where you want to scare the living daylights out of children or not. But we bought a ton of, Corinne and I, we bought a ton of candy, which is sweets if you're watching in England, to hand out to the children that are going to no doubt knock on our front door on Halloween night saying trick or treat. So we'll get the children rounded up. We get Karina and I in a picture with the children, and we're giving away all this candy. So, and then Thanksgiving is in November, and Veterans Day is in November. Now, Larry, in November, don't forget, as a veteran, Texas Roadhouse will feed military veterans for free. So I'm sure there's a Texas Roadhouse where you live. I don't know, but where the one we go to here in where we live is we're going to go there in November and enjoy the benefit of a free Texas Roadhouse steak dinner on the Veterans Day. Water costs more than electricity here. Yeah, water prices are crazy where we live. November 10th is my birthday. Larry Piercy's birthday, November 10th. Well, there you go. Next month. Time flies when you're having fun. And so on Veterans Day, Corinne and I will go, unless she's working. If not, I'll just get one of those receipt things. That's like a rain check. And we'll go get our free steak dinner at Texas Roadhouse. Now, there's other companies, there's other restaurants that do stuff like that. Also, not just Texas Roadhouse. There's other restaurants that give away free dinners and free lunches for Veterans Day to veterans. You just got to show your military ID. It's the Marine Corps birthday. There you go. So you were born on the Marine Corps birthday. I think a couple of days ago it was the Navy's 250th birthday. So, President Trump celebrated, I think he was on the USS George W. Bush, when he celebrated. Bud Garcia, hello, Diego. What's going on, Bud? How is your wife from Thailand doing? Everything's running smoothly for you, right? And you still haven't signed up as a member. What's up with that? Come on, Bud. Sign up as a member. The green card process is speeding up, and the K-1 visa process is speeding up because immigration can focus on you guys who are doing this legally instead of all those people trying to sneak in the country, trying to get their free asylum claims passed. So this process is speeding up because the immigration folks, the Border Patrol, are concentrating on folks who are doing this the right way and not the illegal way. Bud Garcia, she's doing great. Rooster, my wife loves steak more than Asian food. Well, my doctor told me I can eat as much steak as I want, as long as I'm exercising. So, with high blood sugar, you got to avoid carbohydrates as much as you can. But meat is protein. So I was told I can eat as much meat as I want. So I can probably go, we go to Hardee's for our breakfast. Corinne and I, we go to the Hardee's, for the super chat breakfast. When you guys send us super chats, we go to Hardee's. I can eat at Hardee's. I just got to watch the carbs. Larry Piercy, there's Bud Garcia. What? And Bud Garcia, hello, Jarhead. So we got the Marines on base, on point here in the live stream. Bud Garcia's wife is from Thailand. Larry Pierce's wife is from Thailand. And my beautiful wife is from Venezuela. So, and right now we're just waiting for Venezuela to get liberated from those communist dictators that are running the place. So then hopefully in the future, Corinne and I can go there for a vacation. But we can't. And now the president of Colombia, the communist president of Colombia, was crying that President Trump took out a boat that was full of Colombians. Well, it's irrelevant if the boat leaving Venezuela was full of Colombians or Venezuelans or whatever the nationality is of the people. If you're shipping bad stuff to America that will hurt Americans, the U.S. military is going to blow you out of the water. So the president of Colombia, who did time in prison, by the way, in Bogota for his terrorist affiliations, he's a perfect representation of Colombia. No, he's not. And he was crying and whining in Belgium that the U.S. government was taking out these boats that are shipping bad stuff into the United States to kill Americans, basically. And he was crying about it. But his visa's already been revoked. The U.S. government revoked his visa because the guy is just a horrible person, in my opinion, and in the opinion of the U.S. government. And his ass is never coming back to the United States, although our Trump's a president anyway. Rooster, I've been diabetic for 30 years. Sorry to hear that. So are you type 1 or type 2? Because your pancreas, with type 1 diabetes, your pancreas basically is not working. So it's not creating insulin. But with type 2, the pancreas is working. It's just not kicking out enough insulin. So the blood is overwhelmed with glucose. So the pancreas cannot keep up with locking onto the glucose and pushing it into a body cell and changing it into energy. Because that's what glucose is. It's just energy for your body, right? So what you want to do is you want to eliminate the carbohydrates and just eat protein, okay, and fat. You can eat fat too, and that reduces the workload on the insulin coming out of the pancreas. Because when you see somebody overweight, okay, they got a big fat gut, it's because they have insulin resistance, not because they have a ton of calories. People get fat not because of calories, but because of insulin resistance. In other words, the insulin in their pancreas cannot process the sugar quickly enough and turn it into energy, so it gets stored as fat. That's where the belly fat comes from. The visceral, it comes from not a poor production of insulin, not calories. So you don't need to be counting calories if you're overweight. What you need to be doing is eliminating carbohydrate from your diet as much as you can. I'm not a doctor, but I learned stuff, as I've been going through this horrible sugar levels in my blood. I got it all fixed. I took care of it. I lost 25 pounds, and in November, I'll go and get my blood sugar checked and see where I'm at. Hopefully it's back to normal, which I'm sure it is. Rooster, still going strong with type 2. There you go. So Rooster, have you ever tried fasting? If you fasted for like 2 days, talk to your doctor and make sure it's okay. But if you fast for like 48 hours, your body regenerates itself, and your blood sugar gets basically used up in your blood, and it's very good for your body. And I'm glad to hear you're still going strong. Bud Garcia, I don't know if I told you that my wife passed her 2-year green card interview on Friday. Well, heck, Bud Garcia, that's a mega pixie dust salute and a Mountain Dew salute right here. Now, I don't drink Mountain Dew anymore because it's got a lot of sugar in it. But I give Mountain Dew salutes with this. Good job, Bud Garcia, to your wife. Jay Baxter, good evening to the Ross family and to your family also. Jay Baxter, Rooster, Larry Piercy, all members of this channel. Jay Baxter, congratulations, Bud. We're still waiting on our 2-year green card in the mail. Jay Baxter, you got this. Relax. And Bud is asking how long has it been and Francois Livingston. Good evening, Diego and Karina. Francois, what's going on? How's Hamid? What's going on with you guys? And in upstate New York. Jay Baxter, we had issues with the biometrics, but it's been 2 months and a week. Jay Baxter, here's what I would do. Even though wait another month, I would wait another month. And if you haven't heard from immigration in about another 4 weeks, if you haven't heard by November the first week of November, set an appointment with the USCIS at the office where you went for your 2-year green card interview. Go back there and find out what's going on with your green card. Okay, they're just busy. They're overwhelmed with work. They're playing catch up because of all these bogus asylum requests that were coming in from these illegal immigrants trying to stay in America illegally. No medical exam, no police certificate, looking for their free handouts from the American taxpayer. Well, those days are over with. It's history. They're done. So now immigration can concentrate on helping you guys who are doing this the right way, paying the visa fees, going to the visa interviews, going to the medical exams, getting your police certificates, doing it the right way. So, Jay Baxter, you had issues with the biometrics, right? In Oklahoma, right? You had to get an FBI biometric screen done in Oklahoma because the fingerprints didn't work. The machine wasn't working at USCIS. Rooster, congratulations, bud. We're still waiting on New Orleans for an interview. They received 15 July. Yeah, so July, August, September, October, November. Rooster, you're pretty close now. You're up in the front of the line now. Very close. Not much longer. Jay Baxter, yeah, in Oklahoma. I've been to Oklahoma. I drove across the great state of Oklahoma. I believe I-40 drives right through Oklahoma. I think, isn't that right? I-40? Because I think I drove from Dallas, Fort Worth. I drove north and then got into Oklahoma. And then I went to from Oklahoma, yeah, I-40 and I-35. Yeah, I remember driving I-40 quite a bit. Bud Garcia, I typed out the 126 questions. Well, there's 128 questions. So you got 2 more to go. You're talking about for U.S. citizenship, right? For U.S. citizenship, there are now 128 questions that immigration can pull from. And out of those 126 questions, you got to get 12 correct. Or is it? No, it's you got to get 12 correct, and you got 128 questions. They're going to take 20 questions out of the 128, and out of those 20 questions that they've picked from those 128, you got to get 12 correct to pass. So get studying. Yeah, it used to be 6 out of 10. Now it's 12 out of 20. So it went up like 40%, which is good because it's making foreign nationals learn about our country, learn about the history of our nation, the Constitution, the founding fathers. Remember, we're a constitutional republic. We're not a democracy. Communist Venezuela is a democracy where the communists control everything. They had a fake election. It was a massive fraud. Maduro got elected. He used to be a bus driver, by the way, but he didn't get elected. He got installed by the communist regime because the military is backing him. But in a republic, which Venezuela is supposed to be a republic, Colombia is supposed to be a republic where they have representation by the minority. So like in Colombia, they had the election for president, and they elected this doofus communist as president who disrespected the United States on American soil. So he got kicked out of the country by the State Department. He's never going to be allowed back here while Trump's president. But he's trying to run Colombia like a democracy, like Venezuela. But luckily for Venezuela, they have a Congress and a Senate that's run by Republicans. Now, I'm not saying that's the equal of the United States, but pretty close, who are blocking his agenda. So basically, Petro, the communist dictator of Colombia, isn't being able to be a dictator because the military don't support him, the federal police don't support him, and the Republican Congress and Senate don't support him. So basically, Petro is sitting in his chair in his office in Bogota doing nothing except waiting out his term because he doesn't get a second term as president of Colombia. You only get one shot. So he'll do his 4 years and he's done. And hopefully the Colombian people wake up and elect somebody that will put Colombia back on the path to greatness, just like the United States is on the path to greatness. Hopefully, Venezuela, the Venezuelan military, if they would just stop protecting Maduro and start, looking out for the people of Venezuela, then maybe that country will be a free country also. But Maduro is just he's a criminal. He's got a $50 million bounty on his head. The U.S. government put that was higher than Osama bin Laden who was hiding out in Pakistan. There was a bounty on bin Laden's head. You remember when the Navy SEALs from SEAL Team 6 took care of bin Laden? So, I doubt very much that the Navy SEALs are going to go into Venezuela and do what they did to bin Laden to Maduro. But the Venezuelan people need to get a backbone, and the Venezuelan military needs to wake up and smell the freaking coffee and fix their country. So Jay Baxter, yeah, it used to be 12. It's 12 questions out of the 20, right? So you got your 2-year green card. Are you collecting the evidence for your 10-year green card? Are you preparing for U.S. citizenship? There was a lady on the channel. She sent me a message and she said, Diego, my Venezuelan passport is expired. I've got to go to Mexico City to renew my Venezuelan passport. Well, you can go to Mexico City. If your Venezuelan passport's expired, you can go to Colombia. There's a consulate in Bogota. There's a Venezuelan consulate in Mexico City. But here's the deal. You can't travel within Mexico or within Colombia with an expired passport. You can't do it. So my advice to this young lady who has an expired Venezuelan passport is don't worry about it and stay in America, become a freaking American, become a U.S. citizen and get a U.S. passport, and don't worry about your Venezuelan passport anymore. She has a Texas driver's license. She has a residency in Texas. She's got a good job in Texas. Why the heck did she need to renew her Venezuelan passport? For what reason? She's in America. Focus on becoming an American. Right? Become American. And then apply for a U.S. passport. You come to this country, you get a green card, not to be a tourist, but to be a permanent resident. So I recommended to her to stay in America, become a U.S. citizen, and apply for a U.S. passport. Because if she leaves the United States on a 2-year green card, number one, she cannot fly inside Mexico with an expired passport. She cannot fly inside Mexico with a Texas driver's license if she's not a U.S. citizen. So she would have to walk from Texas, the border of Texas, to Mexico City. That's about a week's walk, right? It would take her a week and a half to walk it or get a bus. Seriously. Bud Garcia, when will the questions change? When there is a new State Department. So right now we have Marco Rubio running the State Department, and they run the operations via Homeland Security to USCIS, etc. So the questions for U.S. citizenship, they didn't even change actually under the Biden administration into the Trump administration. The questions didn't change. They just added 28 more questions. So nothing changed. They just added 28 more questions. It went from 100 questions to 128. Okay? And under the Biden administration, if you could spell your last name, you got U.S. citizenship. Under the Trump administration, you best know your stuff. You better know about the history of this country, the Constitution, how the government works. Okay? Make sure you know how this country operates and and learn some stuff about the history of our, the Mexican-American War, the Revolutionary War, the Civil War. Who was fighting in the Civil War? In the American Civil War, who was fighting each other? In the Revolutionary War, who were the Americans fighting? These are questions that are going to come up. Okay? When you go to your U.S. citizenship exam, you're going to get 20 questions, and once you hit 12 correctly, then you're done. So if you get the first 12 questions correct, you've done. You passed. But if you get to question 12 and you screw it up, then they're going to ask you another question. Then you better not mess that one up. Because once you get to 20, if you can't answer 12 out of the 20, then you won't pass. Bud Garcia, I think it's crazy because I did not know a lot of the questions. Well, you know now though, right? You know now. How many members of Congress are there? How many are there? How many U.S. senators are there? What is the responsibility of the President of the United States? Protect the borders, right? That's his primary job, is to protect the country, the borders. That's what his job is. That's what he's doing. But you got a few crazy liberal, socialist, communist senators out there and governors, like the governor of Illinois, who are totally clueless, who are trying to block the President of the United States from doing the job that the Congress of the United States has given him the authority to do. So, Trump's doing a good job, though. I mean, keeping our borders secure. Hardly anybody. I mean, our borders haven't been this secure since the 1970s. So if you are planning on trying to enter the United States illegally, you might as well just give it up because you ain't going to get in. Bud Garcia, yes, I can study with my wife. Well, yeah, study the questions with your wife and help her. Okay? Help her learn the questions. I made the video. I have made a video with every single question that immigration have been given to give to applicants for U.S. citizenship. Plus, I gave the answers in the video. It took me 5.5 hours, 6 hours to make the video. I edited it all together, and it's 55 minutes long. So it took me 6 hours to make a video that's just less than an hour long. There's a lot of work went into it. But the thing is this, if you watch it, your beneficiary will be prepared for U.S. citizenship exam. There'll be no question. There'll be no excuse. So you got to know the answers to the questions. So I would give the question like, how many senators are there in the United States? Well, there's 100, right? There's 2 senators per state. Florida has 2 senators. Hawaii's got 2 senators. And the question could be, why 2? Well, that's to ensure that the people get representation. Why do states have more members of Congress than senators? Well, depending on how big the state is, depends on how many members of Congress are going to represent the people. California is a big state, although it's depleting slowly. All the illegal immigrants are being kicked out of there. But California is a big state with a big population, so they have more members of Congress than, let's say, Vermont or some of the smaller states in the I don't know, like Maine or Vermont. They're small states, so they don't have as many members of Congress as big states like Florida, Texas, California, New York. Okay, but you have to know all this stuff if you're going to become a U.S. citizen. What amazes me is that people get to this country and they pay $630 for advance parole so that they can travel while waiting for their 2-year green card. To me, that's a red flag, a massive red flag. If you spent 1.5 years trying to get your freaking green card to live in America permanently, why in the heck do you need an advance parole document to go back to the country you started from while waiting for your green card? Unless, of course, there's a massive family emergency. But even then, you want to try to solve that over a WhatsApp live stream or some other way. It's a massive red flag to me when somebody says, when they send me a message on YouTube, say, hey, my wife wants to go back to wherever, but she just got here. She just got her green card. Now she wants to travel back to where she was. Well, if that was me, I would say, okay, send her ass and put her on a plane and be done with it. Because in my mind, her loyalty isn't to the husband in America if she or he wants to immediately go back to the home country. Oh, I just got my green card. Okay, now I want to fly back to my home country. Seriously? So why did you come to America? If you miss your family that much, don't come to this country. Stay in your home country and don't marry an American. But if you come to the United States and you get your green card, then stay here. And then when you become a citizen of this country, or you get your 10-year green card, whichever one comes first, then start planning a vacation to go visit your family that you miss. Okay? But immigration they look very carefully at people that make multiple trips out of the United States on their 2-year green card. They look very carefully at it, and there's a good chance that if you're on your 5th vacation to wherever, even if it's only for 2 weeks, you could lose your green card at the Border Patrol checkpoint coming back in the United States. Pay attention to me, class. Listen to what I'm telling you. Okay? Well, I was only gone for 2 weeks. Yeah, but you were gone for 2 weeks 5 freaking times in the last year. Your American citizen sponsor is spending a ton of money on plane tickets, and you're not with him. Jay Baxter, can they apply for citizenship after 3 years of being married to an American or 3 years after getting the green card? Here's how it works, Jay Baxter. Have your wife look at her 2-year green card when she gets it. When she gets her 2-year green card, which will be very soon, look at the issue date. 36 months from the issue date on her 2-year green card is when she can apply for U.S. citizenship. So let's take my wife, for example, my beautiful wife from Venezuela, Karina. The issue date on her 2-year green card is, I believe it's June 26th of 2024. Okay? That's the issue date. She is eligible to apply for U.S. citizenship on June 27th, 2027. 24, 25, 25, 26, 26, 27. So you got to look at the issue date on her 2-year green card. All right? Now, when you apply for your 10-year green card, okay, after 2 years, actually it's got to be within 90 days before your 2-year green card expires. It could take 2 years to get your 10-year green card. While you're waiting for your 10-year green card, you're going to be eligible to become a U.S. citizen. Just apply for U.S. citizenship while you're waiting for your 10-year green card. Don't be sitting there waiting another 2 years, waiting for your green card to get approved. Just file for U.S. citizenship after 3 years. It could take another year and a half for your 10-year green card to get adjudicated. Okay? I hear a cat crying at the door. I'm going to let the cat in, or else really the cat is going to be crying like a baby for the next 30 minutes. 1 second. Come on. Okay. Riddy is in the house. She's stretching her legs, and she just says hi to everybody, and she wants to be part of the live stream. So if you apply for U.S. citizenship, what will happen is you still haven't received your 10-year green card, right? So you apply for U.S. citizenship, you include the I-797, which is your notice of action letter saying that immigration is processing your 10-year green card, and they give you a letter of extension on your 2-year green card for 48 months. So you get a letter, like an NOA2 letter, I guess you call it, or an NOA3 letter, right? And it says, dear, so-and-so, your 2-year green card has been extended for 48 months while we adjudicate your 10-year green card, blah, blah, blah. That's proof, and that's your legal status. Larry Piercy, Is that a condenser or a dynamic mic you're using? It's a microphone. It's a Yeti microphone. So I got cut on my lip here. Well, now I don't know how I did that, but it is what it is. It's a dynamic microphone. It's a Yeti microphone. I use it for the live streams. It's a microphone. It's I don't know. It's a Yeti microphone, Larry. Bud Garcia, will we get a letter to prove that we got approved? You will get a letter from immigration about 2 years after you file for the 10-year green card. So Karina will file for her 10-year green card on March. We'll file March 30th, I think. March 30th, March 31st, 2026, we'll apply for Karina's 10-year green card. She'll get an NOA3 letter. Let's call it the NOA3 letter. Saying, we received your application, Karina. Your 2-year green card is hereby extended by 48 months. Now, this is your legal status. Use this paper, use this NOA3 letter as your legal status in the United States while we adjudicate your 10-year green card. So it could take 2 years for her green card to get adjudicated. When her 10-year green card gets approved, they will send her green card in the mail. They'll send her a letter, a notice of action letter. Let's call it NOA4 letter. Congratulations, Karina, your green card's been approved, and it will be mailed to her. I got no doubt that I don't think we're going to have to go in front of an immigration interview, not from the green card application we're putting together. But between now and then, in that time frame, once 3 years have passed, if Karina's English is up to par, we're going to apply for U.S. citizenship. So then she goes to a U.S. citizenship interview. She passes the civics test and the history test, the exam on the U.S. government. She passes the written and the I think now they're going to have to make people write it like a little essay in English. Once she passes all that, they'll adjudicate her 10-year green card at the same time as the U.S. citizenship. Bud Garcia, no for the 2-year green card interview. Yeah, you'll get a letter of approval. Yeah, absolutely. But what will happen is you're going to go to the green card interview first, and then they'll tell you right there. Then they'll send you a letter, and then they'll mail you the green card. Or they may just mail you the green card. Chris Stout, so you say this is a biometric to receive the 2-year green card. Well, you have to go to biometrics for the 2-year green card and for the 10-year green card. And when you renew your 10-year green card after 10 years, when you go for a U.S. citizenship application, you got to do biometrics. It's a police check by the FBI on the beneficiary to make sure he or she does not have a criminal record. You get to America, you got your 2-year green card, and you get 20 freaking speeding tickets, and you get caught driving, speeding in a school zone. You get a DUI, but you still have a 2-year green card, and you're still living happily in America. So you go for your 10-year green card biometrics, and the police check comes back saying you got 5 speeding tickets, you got a DUI, you got a ticket for running through a school zone. Guess what? You're not going to get your 10-year green card. Pack your stuff and leave this country. That's why they do the biometrics. Let me see. Chris Stout, we all missed you, Larry Piercy, on Saturday because we thought you were watching the game. Chris Stout, I was talking about in New Orleans. In New Orleans, for the biometrics, there's no interview. Biometrics isn't an interview. Biometrics is taking fingerprints, a photograph, and writing the full name. That's it. Biometrics takes 5 to 10 minutes. So Karina and I, we drove all the way to New Orleans from Florida. We drove through Alabama. We drove through Mississippi. We drove through Louisiana. Karina got to experience those 3 states. We stayed at the Holiday Inn Superdome in New Orleans, which is a 5-minute walk to the biometrics. We got rested up. We looked around New Orleans in the nighttime. In the daytime, we got up early, had a shower, ate breakfast, walked to the biometrics for our appointment with the biometrics letter and her passport and her military ID. It took 10 minutes. And then after the biometrics, we walked back to the hotel and then explored New Orleans a little bit more. We walked down Bourbon Street, bought some souvenirs at the Hard Rock Cafe in New Orleans, and then we drove back to Florida. But we went to New Orleans the night before and stayed at the Holiday Inn Superdome because it's a 5 minutes, the MAC is a 5-minute walk to USCIS. Larry Piercy watching the games. Aquarius. Hello, Diego. It's been a while. What's up, Aquarius? Diego, we were approved, just like you said. Thank you for everything and all your help. Well, Mountain Dew salute to Aquarius because you had confidence in yourself and you trusted what I told you. When people listen to Diego, they get their freaking green cards. They get their K1 visas approved. When folks follow the videos that I make, listen to the live streams, you get approved. As long as you qualify for the benefit. There are people that qualify for the benefit that don't get approved because they make stupid mistakes in their application. And right now, there is no room for stupid mistakes. Immigration, if you can't fill out the 864 correctly, your green card's going to get denied. And then you're going to be sending me a message, Diego, help me. And then I'll help you overcome that. But congratulations, Aquarius. And I told you followed directions really well, and you listened to what I said. And Karina was behind you, backing you up, and boom, you got your everything approved. Krista, okay. Colonel, hey Diego, where would I send the I-90? Just making sure. I will. Ted, if you were a member of this channel, I could have already been doing this all for you already. I could have already fixed all this for your stepdaughter, right? I can't, off the top of my head, I don't have the address for the I-90. Okay, but if you were signed up as a member, if you were to reach into your wallet for $9.99, I could have done all this for you, and you would have been already done, and you wouldn't be stressing it. But right now, I don't have the information in front of me for the I-90. I know where to send it. I just don't have it in front of me. But don't sweat this. The I-90, plus you got to turn in the green card with the mistake on it. I had a gentleman, listen to this. I had a gentleman, immigration put the incorrect date on his 2-year green card. They put the wrong date on his 2-year green card. He got his green card. The date was a year in the future. And then he got a letter saying, you have to file to lift the conditions off of your 2-year green card or you're going to be deported or something like that. And he's like, Diego, I've only been in the United States for 6 months. I've only been here for 6 months. And now I've got to file my I-751. I fixed his problem. I fixed him. He was panicking. Because immigration put the wrong freaking date on the 2-year green card. They gave him a year in advance. So then he was getting close to 2 years when he'd only been in America for 6 months. I fixed that. Aquarius, Ted, you need to become a member. I made so many mistakes. Right now, it's not a time to play. Don't be making a mistake. Aquarius is right. And we fixed a bunch of stuff for Aquarius. But it's no problem because it's a complicated process if you don't know what you're doing. It's complicated. But I make it so simple. I decomplicate it. I make it like a 10th grade high school kid can figure this out. I took everything that immigration throws at you. And what? Our cat really wants to go outside. Look at that. She's right there by the door. And she knows if she touches the door, there she goes. Look. She knows I'm going to get mad. Look, she's trying to lift up the cat guard. Look at that. Anyway, if you make mistakes now, your green card's going to get denied. You can't make mistakes. Immigration don't have time. They don't have time. If you submit a bad application, but if let's suppose immigration makes the mistake, it's not your fault. Immigration screws up. It's not your fault, but it's still going to slow down the process, and you still got to know how to fix it. And Aquarius said she made many mistakes, but we fixed them. Because she's a member of this channel, Aquarius was texting me and calling me. We fixed everything, and now she has a green card. Her husband's green card. Angel Mercia, good afternoon, Diego. What's going on, Angel? How are you doing? How's your family? Chris Stout, you're more than welcome to come to New Orleans. Well, listen, here's what's going to happen. In March, we're going to file for Karina's 10-year green card. And about 2 weeks or 3 weeks after we mail her 10-year green card, let's say 4 weeks after we mail her green card application for her 10-year green card, we're going to get a letter, a notice of action letter saying, Dear Karina, your 2-year green card has been extended for 4 years. And then we're going to get another letter that says, you are now scheduled for a biometrics appointment in New Orleans at, let's say, 10 a.m. on, let's say, April 20th of 2026. I'm just making that up. So what's going to happen? We're going to have the letter for the biometrics. I want to say to Karina, hey, we're going to make a road trip to New Orleans again. So the day before her biometrics appointment for her 10-year green card in New Orleans, the night before, the day before, we'll leave the house the day before, get on Interstate 10, drive through Alabama, drive through Mississippi, drive through into Louisiana, and we will check into the New Orleans Superdome. They don't pay me to say that, but this is what we're going to do. It's a beautiful hotel. It may be expensive, but it's a 4-minute walk from the freaking immigration office. And you don't want to be stuck in traffic when you have an appointment for biometrics. You don't want to be stuck in traffic. You don't want to get a flat tire on the way to your biometrics. You don't want to do that. So we go to the New Orleans Superdome. We park the car. We check it in the hotel parking lot, $45 for the night. We'll go and explore New Orleans again in the nighttime, go out. Next morning, get up, take a shower, eat breakfast, walk to immigration, do her biometrics, and then leave the immigration office and go back to the hotel and chill out and hang out. Maybe I'll take her on a riverboat cruise. Maybe I'll take her in on the Mississippi riverboat cruise for like $60. Go to Jackson Square. You know, go visit Jackson Square, historic part of New Orleans. But we're going to make a vacation out of it. Chris Stout, mine was $108 and I had discounts rated for my employer. Okay. So it will probably cost me about $150, $130 for the night to stay at the New Orleans Superdome, somewhere like that. I don't know, probably with a military discount. It's about $130, $150. But I don't care how much it costs to stay at the hotel. What I am more concerned about is I'm within 5 minutes walk from immigration with my beautiful wife. We're not going to get a flat tire. We're not going to get stuck in traffic. Nothing's going to happen to her. I mean, and we can be in the daytime, right? So we won't miss the appointment. Always plan ahead. Always plan on contingencies. Murphy's Law always raises his head all the time. Murphy's Law. Plan for Murphy's Law to come. Let's suppose we leave the day before to go to New Orleans, and her biometrics is tomorrow. And I get a freaking flat tire on Interstate 10. I have got plenty of time to get that flat tire fixed and then continue our journey onto New Orleans, because the appointment will be tomorrow. You want to give yourself plenty of leeway. Now, if you live an hour away from the USCIS, some people live an hour and a half away, then you probably won't have to do that. but you probably want to leave your house 5 hours early to allow for any contingencies that could crop up, right? Flat tire, traffic, you get lost, you can't find a parking spot. Think of all this. Okay, guys, I've been talking for 1 hour, and I hope you learned something new from the live stream. I'm going to go get something to eat here. Congratulations, Aquarius, to you and your family. I'm happy for you. Larry Piercy, Chris Stout, Rostov, all the folks, Francois Livingston, thank you for being a member of this channel. What is it? It's only $9.99. It's not that much, right? An immigration attorney will charge you $400 just for a 10-minute phone call. Angel Marcia, family's doing great. Yesterday, we received our notice that USCIS received our 751 application. Okay, very good, Angel. So we're going to put a Mountain Dew salute to you. A Mountain Dew Pepsi company doesn't pay me to say that. I used to just love Mountain Dew, and I still love Mountain Dew. I just can't drink it anymore. And Maga Pixie does. And I'll see you guys. What day is it today? Wednesday? Tomorrow's trash day. I got to get the trash out. And then tomorrow's Wednesday. Tomorrow's Thursday. I'll be back with Karina on Saturday. But I'll make some videos in between. Thanks for joining me on the live stream. Hope you learned something new today. And see you guys very soon. See you, Larry and Jay Baxter.